Hello everyone and welcome to this Train Sim World 3 news video. This one isn't really about Train Sim World 3 specifically, it's about all of the franchises that come under Dovetail games. Obviously I will lean it slightly towards Train Sim World because I suspect most of you are more interested in that, but obviously this, as you can probably see from this slide already, what I'm going to talk about in this video has huge implications for the for not only the Train Sim World franchise, but all of the other franchises under Dovetail's control. So that includes Train Simulator Classic, their fishing sims, and whatever Catan is. So let's jump straight in. So what has happened? Yesterday, or sort of this morning, a few hours ago, railsimulator.com Limited, which is the official name of Dovetail Games, was bought by Focus Entertainment, which is a French company. Obviously this is not like you rock up to the shops and buy something. This would have been going on, or the arrangements to purchase would have been going on for quite some time. They haven't released a price, but I should expect maybe £100 million, perhaps. I don't know. I really can't do valuations, but They make about £20 million profit a year, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's anything less than that, really, which is a considerable amount of money. But I'll explain a bit more about the implications. So, before I do that, I'll explain some of the other, what we can attribute other things, how we can attribute other things to this. So, everyone has been saying after the recent releases such as New York to Trenton, Linker Rheinstrecke, the Midland Main Line, all of these new routes and the general premise of the loco packs, everyone's been saying that they're really rubbish, right? They are very overpriced, very quickly and poorly made, full of bugs. There's really no love and care that's gone into the content that's come out of Dovetail, and this would explain it, because if Focus had already agreed to buy Dovetail, but there hadn't been a price agreed, then if Dovetail can try and get as many last-minute sales as possible whilst they're still independent, then that drives their business valuation up, which means that the people who currently, or owned before they got bought, people who owned Dovetail get more money, because obviously the people buying Dovetail have to pay more because the valuation was artificially inflated. So this would explain the really bad routes that have come out, and the loco packs as well. I mean, my general attitude to most of the content that's released recently has been pretty poor. Midland Main Line is so buggy and so poorly made in terms of route scenery and the timetable and everything else. New York to Trenton it was a route full of promise, but it wasn't finished. It plainly wasn't finished. Whole areas had no overhead lines. A similar story on Linker Rheinstrecke, whole areas without proper modelling, etc. The only route that defies this is the Niedertalbahn, which has been in active development for a year and a half now, possibly even like 2 years. So it would have been, we've known about it for 6 months. Yes, because that was leaked at about the same time as Train Sim World 3 was leaked, but we can assume that it's been in the works for about a year. So that one was also made by a separate third party entirely, and they had much more control over, what the route was and how long they could take. Although I suspect they were probably pressured into releasing before this this acquisition. So short term, what does this mean for the franchise? Nothing, more or less. Dovetail have said that there'll be no change, like no noticeable change to anything. The roadmap will stay as it is. All the DLCs that are currently in development that we don't know about, or we aren't supposed to know about, like the Preston to Blackpool and other stuff like that, will stay in development as planned. And the biggest thing from this, I believe, is that Dovetail Games will continue to operate as an independent company. So they'll continue to operate in basically the same way that they used to in the short term. This is from what I've gathered reading all of the media releases, and it could be wrong. But in the short term, from what I understand, that Dovetail will essentially run the same as they have been, but the money just goes to someone else at the end of the day. So as a result of that, Dovetail will retain their current CEO. Now, I can't say whether this will change. It possibly will, it possibly won't. Long term, it probably will. So long term, nobody's really sure. If you have a nosy around on the forums, you'll see that there's a general air of unknowing. People just don't know. We could get managerial shake-ups. We could get much better routes. You could get much worse routes. They could treat customers better, treat them worse. They could listen to us. They might not. They could only produce French trains from French routes, or they could, do much more international stance. There'll probably be more access to capital, so bigger projects that would have probably been a bit too risky for Dovetail as an independent producer would probably be available with a slightly higher budget, I reckon. So perhaps this means more international content. Perhaps it means upgrades to UE5, which is Unreal Engine 5. Perhaps it could mean anything. It could also mean nothing. Obviously, there's a reason why Focus are buying Dovetail. Probably because it's cheap. I mean, Dovetail games as a whole, playership is very low. They have to keep releasing stuff, partly to make money, partly, to please the private investors, and to inflate the company's valuation, as I've spoken about, but also to keep people actually playing the game, because otherwise it'll die out so quickly. Each game that they release with Train Sim 1, 2, and 3, every time they release, the player base gets smaller and smaller. They dig themselves into a hole, but I don't know. Maybe it's the best they can do. But generally long term, we don't know. And that is very much a watch this space. I don't know. My speculation is that the general quality of things will improve, and that we'll get some more international routes and some more French routes. I don't know. I suspect perhaps a Paris metro line will be on the cards. I don't know. It's very highly requested. It would be fairly easy to do. It would be a fairly easy French route to do. I don't know. We'll watch this space, basically. There is one very good thing, and I feel bad for people who already own all of these. I certainly already own LGV Med, as you can see from the screenshot behind. But because Focus, the new owner of Dovetail, is a French company, we get most of the French train-related content that Dovetail Games have produced for free. So for 1 week only in May, and we don't know which week that will be yet, but stay tuned. The following DLC will be free on all platforms, as I understand it. So Train Sim World LGV Med, which is Marseille to Avignon. Train Sim Classic LGV Med Marseille Avignon. But for Train Sim Classic, there's also the extension from Avignon to Lyon for that LGV Med. So if you why wouldn't you? You should pick these up because they're free, or they will be free. But basically, you can get Marseille to Lyon, which is like half of France, for free, and you also get the TGV Réseau and an additional type of duplex, which are other types of TGV train. This is all for free, but only for 1 week. If you stay tuned, I will of course let you know when that week is. I will almost certainly do a live stream of some sort on all of this as it happens. And that's about it. If you want to do some further reading, I suggest that you have a look at the Train Sim World and Train Sim Classic forums, and also media releases from both parties, and I'll put links to both of those in the description. And as I mentioned, I will also be making regular community posts on the community tab on my channel page that you can have a look at. They'll appear in your regular feed as well. So keep your eyes tuned. Do some of your own research. It's very much watch this space, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. I guess what I'd sum it up is we hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And with that, I will leave you. Thank you very much for watching this impromptu video. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.